Hello, this video is going to show how to deploy a Maven project on Jenkins and using SonarQube to do static code analysis and use Ngrok, Webhook, and use GitHub to do version control, etc. First, in my IntelliJ, I built a new project, Maven archetype. Here is the project, the structure. This is the source code, which is a simple calculator. I have the add method, divide method, and here is a print statement, which I didn't provide a test case. But in the test code, I have test the divide and divide by 0. We will see that in the code analysis. By the way, I have some issue with, I want to export Jenkins file, which I will do next time. But the major part is POM file, which I spend a lot of time on. This is very tricky. In order to use SonarQube, I need to define all the properties, including the URL, project key, project name, what code to analyze, including the source and test, and where to find the JaCoCo test report. This is very strange because my Jenkins log always says that because the download only required is false, that is why it downloads all available plugins, which is make my job building very slow. But actually I've already changed it to true. Still my Jenkins project says it is false. About the plugins, these are very common plugins, and Surefire is about works together with the JUnit in order to do the test. The JaCoCo plugin is very difficult to configure because previously I didn't have this configuration and it didn't work, and also the version is critical as well. Then we have this Jupyter for JUnit dependency for JUnit tests. And here is the Sonar Maven plugin. This is for static code analysis. I can run my Maven project successfully here locally, but the problem is how to run the Maven project which also triggers SonarQube to do static code analysis locally. That is a problem. It is related to the tokens, so on. But I will come back to that later on. First, I want to say that I used Ngrok for a temporary URL. You just started because I already got the token. So this time I got this temporary URL for my local host. So I can run my Jenkins on this URL. And then I also create a webhook. Okay, I forgot to say that after I created this project, I went to the folder. Here, I just open the command line and git init a repository, and I git push to remote to my GitHub. So here is the project on GitHub. On GitHub, I have two branches. One is main. The other one is bug fix because I wanted to experiment whether the new configuration of POM works or not. I have the commits. You can see the history. All this is about main branch, and then I move to the bug fix branch. You can see in order to sometimes I just want to have some push and also test the webhook. So how to do that? The webhooks thing is you go to settings, and then here's the webhook. Okay, this is the webhook I used last time. This is the new one I'm using now. you just paste the URL from Ngrok here and add GitHub webhook / which is very important. Change the content type to JSON, and let me select individual events because you don't want everything to trigger your webhook. So the major things are pull and push, and then add the webhook. Add the webhook, and then you can see the recent deliveries. It will automatically connect to Jenkins, send a ping, which means this is a successful. So how to check? Here I have a project which is called, I call it Jenkins webhook. Let's see, this is successful. Let's see the configuration. The configuration is first use my GitHub project, main branch. This one is important, GitHub hook trigger. So that, of course, this is Maven's project. And then you run this and you save it, and then you save this, and then I go back to my code. I change the code, which is just the delete method. I push it to GitHub, and GitHub will automatically trigger the webhook will be triggered, and then this project will be built automatically. Let's see the log. Let's see the log. Okay, it is successful. So this is a webhook, and now I'm going to talk about how on GitHub how I to deal with the conflicts. Now first, in the bug fix branch, first I in my command line here, I just go to a command here. I just switch to the bug fix branch, and then I will see the POM file which is on bug fix branch. I add a comment which does not really affect the code, but it is there. And then I git add pom.xml and git commit. Then I switch to the main branch. I add another comment which is adjacent to the previous line. I also git add and git commit, and then git tells me there's a conflict. Then I will see the two lines are in red, which means I need to manually deal with the conflicts. Actually, they're just comments. They don't really affect the code, but still it is conflict. So I manually delete them, and then I solve the conflict. But I don't really want people to see the meaningless conflicts on GitHub, so I switch the pointer of the GitHub to a previous commit, so that why you cannot see this commit on my GitHub, but you will see my log. Anyway, okay, Jenkins. Another problem about Jenkins is this one, Jenkins SonarQube. This is a very difficult project. Let's see this. What I want to do here is to use SonarQube and JaCoCo to do code coverage and static code analysis. First, again, I use my Git project on my bug fix branch because I want to experiment. I don't really want to mess up with my main branch, and use secret text. Now, before I build this project, I configure SonarQube and add the secret text in my configuration. How to get SonarQube secret text? Go to my SonarQube, my account, security, and then here, this is the tokens I have generated. And then I copy this token in a global setting of Jenkins. That's why Jenkins and SonarQube are connected. And then you need to tick this box, prepare SonarQube scanner environment. I use the secret text. In the build steps, I have to choose Maven. This is my version. And clean verify this belong to Maven's life cycle, but I now also use Sonar to ask Sonar to do the code static analysis. Okay, here is the tricky part. You need to pass those parameters to the project. But actually, this is what I did first. Actually, I changed my POM file and put everything in my POM file, so there's a lot of overlap or duplication between the POM file and this UI. In the POM file, in the properties, I passed the URL, the project key, the project name, and what source code to analyze, blah blah blah. So go back here. You see the source, the project key, project name. And this is important because if you don't have the exclusions, the SonarQube will analyze everything in target, which includes HTML, CSS, everything that is irrelevant. And then your code analysis result will not be what expected. And the most tricky part is actually this one. First, I follow the video and put the login and password here. But this is very bad practice because you're exposing this private information to the public. So I comment them. But after I comment them, I realized it didn't work. I read the log. It says about the token is you are not authorized. Then I realized the problem is the token has already been set. The token is correct. Already been set in the global setting. Here you have a token, which means you are overwriting your previous token. That is why there's a conflict. You don't have the authorization. If I comment this token, I keep the login password, it will work. But this is not good practice. And I realized if I comment all 3 lines, it will work as well because in a global setting, I've already have the token. Now the problem is in my local here, even if I pass the token in the command line, it doesn't work. So I haven't figured out how to pass the token to run static code analysis locally. But on Jenkins, because of the global setting, it works. And then because this project also requires deployment, which is output, so I have this print statement which will show in a log. And to archive the artifacts, I choose, of course, the jar file, but also the JaCoCo, which is the code coverage report, and everything inside might be important. Okay, JaCoCo coverage report, you just choose this one and everything is by default. And then you save it. Okay, let's save it. And then let's build now. It is very slow. We will see it is running now because it will download all the available plugins. And here is my last run. You can see JaCoCo and the jar file have been archived, but I don't know why. Here is a problem. You see, I just don't understand what it is about. Code coverage trend, and we will see the report in static code analysis. Okay, let's read the log. Okay, fetch the code and clean verify Sonar, and the tests are running. 3 tests. Okay. Execute success. Now it is successful, so now let's go to see the SonarQube. This is 1 minute ago, the one we just run. We will see the code coverage is 75%. Why? This is correct because this is the code we wanted to analyze. Now this is uncovered, as I said. This is covered, and let's see some issues like this one. This block need to be removed, so on and so forth. And we can do that. So SonarQube can actually analyze this the problems to improve our code. Okay. Next one, I want to see how to build a pipeline. In order to build a pipeline, we have Jenkins file to do that, but I haven't figured out. I'm going to do another way. Here I created 3 projects: compile, test, and package, and put them in one view. And one project will lead to the other downstream project, automatically trigger the next one. So let's see. All the projects you can see have been built successfully. Let's see the configuration of the first project, compile. In the compile, I used my Git and then main branch and then Maven. You see, here's a go clean compile. This is first step. The important one is take this one, trigger parameterized, build on other projects. And here I put the next downstream project here, so which means after this project the test project will run when it will be triggered when it is stable. And in order to do that, we need to configure the parameter. We want to use the workspace of this project to be the workspace of the test project. We store this workspace in a variable called Jenkins pipeline underscore workspace, which will be used in the next 2 jobs. And then we save it. This is the first one. Let's see the next one, test. Here, this project is parameterized, which means it has been configured. This is the variable we used to store the workspace. And so now we don't need Git anymore because the compile job has already fetched the code and compiled. In this project, it only needs to do the tests. And we also need to configure the next project, which is package. And the parameter is the same workspace. Okay. And then let's see the next project. This, sorry, not this one. The package, the last one. In this configuration, again, we need to pass the parameter and no Git. And here, the goal is package. And this is very important because if you don't write this, by default, this project will run tests as well. So I actually ask the Jenkins to skip the tests. We will see that in the log. It will be more efficient because there's no need to run the test again. So now we have to run the project, build the project. Now, okay, if let's see, the first project is built now, and then it will automatically trigger the next one. We will see the next project is in the queue and it's running now. Okay, the first project, just let's see, this is a test. Then the package, the last job in the pipeline is running now. Okay, now let's refresh. We will see they have just been successful. Let's read the output. Okay, it fetch the code, so on and so forth, and triggers the next job, which is test. Let's read the log. you will see it is, I have the screenshot there. It says that nothing to compile. This is just run tests. And the next downstream job is package. In this case, we still have the test, which is actually the log from the previous job. We will see here very explicitly that nothing to compile because it has already been got tests are skipped. So that's why this is very efficient. Now, by the way, you can only run the job one, use the first one to trigger the next one because they are the two are dependencies. You cannot run them alone. So that is pipeline. I was going to figure out the Jenkins file to make the pipeline work more smoothly. Thank you.